Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how to start testing new products for your Shopify dropshipping store on Meta or TikTok ads with very, very little risk and in such a way that's going to enable you to only spend on profitable products. And one of the key things to keep in mind when you are a beginner is that dropshipping is a very risky business model to actually get into. Most people say that it's low risk, which is not necessarily true. It's low capital, meaning you don't need a lot of money to get started, but there absolutely is risk. And if you're testing products without using the strategy that I'm going to tell you in this video, you're going to find out very quickly that dropshipping is a business where you can lose a lot of money in the beginning if you are not careful or if you are not leveraging the tools that these ad platforms are giving you to your disposal to be able to mitigate risk as much as possible. And I wanted to show off Riv here in this video. Huge shout out to him if he's watching this. But he was a guy that was testing previously in the group or in our community. First link in the description, by the way. He was testing products in the group, kind of getting decent results. I mean, he was making a couple sales on some of his products, if I remember correctly, but nothing that was really seriously scaling. And one of his most recent products, he started testing out, and the first few days were okay. You know, he's making a couple sales. One day he was profitable. Another day he was slightly break even. And overall, he just wasn't able to actually push that product and scale that product to the level that eventually he was able to do just by changing his testing strategy in the account. So as you can see, within the span of 12 days, he was able to go from wishy-washy results, doing a couple sales, all the way to $5,000 a day profitable, again, within the span of 12 days, just by making these changes in his account that I'm going to show you in this video. And I'm going to explain how to set this up exactly so you can literally click off of this video in a new tab and set it up alongside me. But I'm also going to explain why this works and why it's so powerful. And once you understand this, and once I understood this, I realized there is literally no other way that I will ever test a product again, especially on a brand new store, on a brand new brand. There is zero evidence or zero reason to suggest why you should ever test another product without using this strategy ever again. If that sounds like hyperbole, I'm telling you it's not. And so let's go ahead and jump into the video and break down exactly what he did so differently that allowed him to achieve these results and what you can do differently in your account that's going to allow you to achieve similar results with new products that you test. So I'm in my account now, and I wanted to show off a couple of different things that I've been testing personally in my account. And as you can see here, very, very different results in my account. But I actually have one test here that's clocking in at a 1.63, which is awesome. Then I have another test here that's clocking in at a 0.7 return. Then I have another test here that's clocking in at $70. So the strategy that we employ is by using cost controls, so cost caps. If you guys are longtime viewers of the channel, you know I love cost caps. I can't shut up about them. But I wanted to show you exactly, especially for those of you that are new to the channel, if you're still testing on lowest cost, highest volume, what cost caps effectively enable you to do in the testing process and what makes them so powerful, and why if you're a dropshipper, you'll seriously never go back to running your campaigns without cost controls ever again. And I have 3 product tests here that honestly show 3 different results that you can expect with caps and with cost caps in general, even if you are setting them correctly, is that we have three results here where obviously very, very different return on ad spends. I have one account here or one campaign here that spent $100 is 0.7, another campaign here that spent $51. And then another campaign that spent $50 and generated a 1.63. And if you guys are using cost controls, this is the result that you're looking for, because I've intentionally set my cost cap a couple dollars below this cost per purchase because I'm shooting for a 1.7/1.8 break even, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But this result actually makes me really, really excited to see in my ad account, because when we are setting cost caps, the primary metric that you need to be looking out for is spend. I don't really look at cost per click, CPMs. I don't look at hold rate or anything like that, especially when I'm running on cost caps, because the spend will tell you whether or not Meta thinks your ads, your offer, your creative, your ads, your offer, or your product are good enough to actually get delivery. And remember, Meta's only going to spend when it thinks it can get you these conversions. So what you're going to see oftentimes when you're running on cost caps is they're not a magic bullet. So when you are setting your cost caps, I'll show you how I build out every single campaign. So for this campaign, we do a CBO campaign. I did a few different ad sets here, but realistically, this was just so I could keep track of everything, and I batched them all into ad sets so I could see all the creatives for every single group. So I did one group, I was testing this value proposition. This group, I had videos. This group, I had images. So I was just separating them out for organization. As long as your cost cap is set across the board the exact same, it really doesn't matter if you want to do one ad set. For this particular campaign, I did one ad set, or I did a few different ad sets. And as you can see, obviously one of the creatives was better than the others. And I set my cost per result goal to just about the break-even point on this campaign. And it started spending. And let me show you today, as I'm recording this, is the spend has drastically tapered off. So yesterday, it actually went way over budget, or spent close to the full budget. And then today, it has tapered off tremendously. And basically, you have to think of this as when you're running on highest cost or highest volume, or running without using cost caps, this campaign is going to spend that full daily budget regardless of the results that it can get you. And that's a very dangerous thing to be doing when you're dropshipping, because you're not a brand. You are completely brand new to the market. You don't have an organic page. You're trying to compete with brands for customers that are used to seeing elevated branded stores. They're used to seeing Instagram pages. They're used to seeing TikTok pages with actual people posting about the product. And so when you go into the account and you tell Meta to get you as many conversions as possible, or in other words, when you're not using cost caps, remember, you're going toe to toe with those brands, and you have a very low likelihood of winning. Even if you follow my build a dropshipping store tutorials, or build a branded store tutorials, you have no data in your account. You usually have bad creative, and it's just not going to work out for you. So on cost caps, you'll see the spend actually modulates based on your cap and based on Meta's ability to predict whether or not it can actually get you what you want at that target. And what I love about cost caps is you basically can test as many products as you want to without having to worry about coming into the account and turning things off, because Meta will do that for you. And that's exactly what's happening in this specific scenario. Is spend is tapering off, and I've gotten the spend across products, and it eventually tapers off until a lot of these campaigns are going to hit zero spend. And let me show you another example of this inside of my ad account on a couple of other products that I had tested. As you can see, this campaign is still running, but you'll see across these campaigns, right? I've got very different results and performance. And these campaigns, I know they're off currently, but I didn't have to turn these off when I was running this account. Eventually, the spend tapered off to zero. And that is because, as you can see, based on the cost cap that I set, based on the creative that I set, based on the products that I chose, there was just not enough there for Meta to actually get my desired cost per purchase. But as you can see, there is a product that is able to get conversions at a very nice cost and a 3 return on ad spend. And overall, across my testing board, I am actually just barely profitable. I made like $4 on this, but this is a huge difference compared to, imagine if I was running all of these campaigns without using cost caps, and imagine if they were spending the full daily budget. Now I'd have a probably 3 return or even lower on this campaign, but I probably have overall across the average be closer to like a 0.5 return on ad spend and be out a lot of money that I could actually be using to funnel into future product tests. So with the cost cap setup, your goal is to test as many products as possible, because with cost caps, the downside is pretty much zero, and Meta's going to throw everything it can into the auctions with what you've given it to be able to try and get you conversions at that CPA target. And if it can't, the spend tapers off, and then you can very, very quickly move on. But the products that do show high potential, like this one, these are the products that you want to be focusing on scaling up. These are the products like Riv, where you have something that's working and you can scale up on caps. And now you've sort of gotten a pulse for the products that you've been testing, and you know which ones are worth investing further time and creative into. So now looking at this, what I'm working on scaling up is investing into what are new creatives that I can test to get this to spend even more. Is the creative that has 7 purchases that I can create, 15 different iterations of, and see if I can get even more spend in my account. Now I know this is the product that I want to focus on, and all these other ones I remove from my They no longer exist to me. They're dead to me. I move on from these products. I never look back on them. And now I can focus on this product. I can make new creative. I can throw it into here. And now when I'm making new creative, there is very, very little risk associated, or I can have confidence in the time that I'm investing into this because I know, hey, with the initial creative that I gave Meta, I was actually able to get a very strong return on ad spend. In fact, the 3 return on ad spend is phenomenal on cold traffic. So now I can confidently invest into this product, and I can also test additional products on top of this using this exact same strategy because I still have this campaign running. And I know that over time, whatever products I test, I can throw them up. I'm going to set my cost cap to break even. And then if I get spend, great. If I do get spend and it's at target, great. If I do get spend and it's not at target, even better, because I know Meta is eventually going to taper that spend off. Now, when it comes to actually setting this up, I've been experimenting with a lot of different setups. I have videos dedicated to exactly how to set it up. The main takeaway here is whatever setup you run, I recommend a CBO, one ad set, broad. You want to set your cost cap to, at a very minimum, your 20% below break-even point. So you're going to find your break-even point, set it to 20% below. And if you're not getting any spend on day one, that's a very bad sign. You can inch up your break-even cap. Right now, I'm setting my caps to break even. If you're a beginner with very, very low budget and you want to be as tight as possible, then 20% below break even. But if you're someone with a little bit more budget, you're okay with stomaching some losses on products. The higher you set your cost cap, the closer you get to break even. Obviously, the more likely it is to spend, but the more likely you are to have some failed product tests because you're setting your cap. You're giving Meta more room to spend closer and closer to the unprofitable point. So if you have low budget, 20% below break even. If you have budget, go to break even because that's going to allow you to give Meta the most data possible. And then set your cap to break even on the ad set level. CBO, broad ad set, throw all of your creatives in there and let that campaign run for 3 days. If you're not getting spend or if your campaign results look like this, move on. Test a new product. You can invest into more creative. And when I say results look like this, if spend just tapers off and eventually goes to 0 over a 3-day period, move on, because the main thing as a beginner is product market fit. Honestly, your ad strategy in the beginning doesn't really matter a whole ton. It's finding a product that people actually want to buy. That is the most difficult part of dropshipping, is finding a product that has strong enough product market fit. And so as you're testing, right, you need to be testing at a high velocity, 5 to 10 products a week minimum, if you want to eventually find that winner. And cost caps allow you to test with confidence at that velocity with little to no downside or risk. So that is going to conclude this video, guys. Once you start using cost caps, I swear you will never go back because the downside protection that they afford you. I love being able to go to sleep at night and not wake up to campaigns spending $300-400 and having no results to show for it. I love when I go check a sale and I check out my ad spend. I love seeing that I've only spent $20 that day and I made an $80 sale and I actually made like $50 or whatever the case may be. When you are product testing, test as many products, or when you're in the product testing phase, test as many products as you can. Focus on velocity. Use cost caps in your account to mitigate your downside so you can focus on testing as much as possible. And guys, it is November 4th as I'm recording this. You need to get in. There is literally no better time to start testing products until we get to Black Friday. This is the best time to get into dropshipping. So please, 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 if there was ever a time to test your water, if you're someone on the fence about dropshipping and you've thought about it before, I'm telling you, Q4, November, this is literally the only time that I would ever recommend someone to get into dropshipping if they had like no budget and they were a complete beginner, because once Black Friday kicks in, we are all going to be riding this wave of just increased consumer behavior. And a lot of the products that aren't really working well right now, or maybe products that you tested in the past that had okay results, are just going to skyrocket in sales. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to get access to my complete Shopify dropshipping masterclass, 3 weekly Q&A calls, a free one-on-one coaching call, as well as over $300 worth of free paid spy tools, PP ads, Shop Hunter, the list goes on. Hit the first link in the description to join God Tier Ecom, and I hope to see you guys inside. But that's been it for this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.